we're gonna go back, man. We're gonna go back, take it back a little bit, man. About 14 years ago, we recording this episode November 8th, so it literally is 14 years ago. November 8th, 2003, Roy Jones faced Antonio Tarver for the first time. Man, you remember that fight, man?
You know I do, man.
Dang, man, I can't believe it's been 14 years, though, man. This was whenever Roy Jones first, well, he moved up to heavyweight, won his crown against John Ruiz, WBA heavyweight belt. And then he decided to move back down by dropping 20 pounds to reclaim his title against Antonio Tarver. But it wasn't an easy job, man. And I mean, from the beginning, if you remember the history of these two, Roy Jones, he beat Tarver way back.
As kids.
Yeah, as kids. And they always kind of had some animosity towards each other. I remember, like, before Roy moved up to heavyweight, Tarver, he tried to pull the Rocky stunt and, came at one of his press conferences, was like, when you gonna give me my shot? Yeah, they was
talking big. That was classic. I remember that.
And, I think, like we say, fighters, they're never scared, and like Roy, I think it kind of got under his skin that somebody was disrespecting him more so. He was never scared of him, like some people said. And, so Roy, he didn't pay it no mind. He's like, all right, he's on his path. I'm on mine. I'm going to stay focused, move up, do heavyweight, which he did. He won the crown, but he was in talks, even taking a fight with Mike Tyson. But, Tarver kept on bugging him, saying, I'm the better light heavyweight, banner. I'm bugging him for a fight. And, Roy decided, like, a few months, I'm gonna lose this weight. I'm going to move back down. I'm going to beat this guy and reclaim my title, which was another piece of history, Like Bob Fitzsimmons was the only other fighter in history to do that, move back down from light heavyweight to heavyweight to win both crowns. But Roy made history by moving back down to win the 175 crown again. So I really think that dropping that 20 pounds, it wasn't a good look for Roy, man, because it really showed in the fight.
Yeah. I mean, we know that now, and we know that losing that weight quick like that is not good for a fighter. We know that now.
Because before, people kept saying, oh, that's just an excuse. But when I looked at it, when I first saw that fight back then, I was like, Roy, he really looks different.
It's a fact, dude. It's not a opinion. It's a fact. Losing weight quick.
Yeah, 20 pounds of muscle.
It's not good for the body.
This wasn't like fat. It was muscle.
It's a fact.
It's a fact, And the overall performance from Roy that night, I really had to give him credit because he won it on heart.
Yeah, on all heart.
It was all heart because his speed wasn't there like it used to be. His reflexes, Tarver being, a dangerous light heavyweight fight for him. It was just like, how is he doing this right now? How didn't he get knocked out in that fight? Because Tarver was really putting the jab on him. Roy's face was swole, nose was bleeding. He was really gassing, breathing out his mouth. But there was a lot of touch and go rounds in that fight. Whereas a lot of people were thinking Tarver was getting the best of it. But when you looked at it, a lot of those rounds Tarver was winning like 30 seconds. He come back in like that last 30 seconds of the round and try to win over the judges, Whereas Roy, he tried to control it more with body shots throughout the fight. But it was one of those majority decisions. Roy, he won it, but a lot of people were booing. Like I was excited when I saw this fight because it was just like you never seen Roy in that type of trouble before,
For me, I never really understood the Tarver thing. I never really was impressed with Tarver. I never really thought he was great. I never really think he accomplished anything great. His greatest accomplishment was the second Roy fight. Now, mind you, like you said, when Roy came back down, he didn't look himself. He looked totally different physically. And then during the night, watching him perform, it definitely wasn't the same Roy, but it was something that Tarver knew, though. You know what I mean? Because I didn't. If you had asked me, I never would have thought he could touch Roy. He could carry Roy Jones' jockstrap. Yeah, I never would have thought that. Yeah,
I think it was more so this guy coming out of left field and just showing the champion no respect, and I think that's what won a lot of fans over.
Fan wise, but like you
Fan
said,
wise,
yeah,
but
Roy knew that they had history, so he was like, "Well, man, this gotta be."
Yeah.
It is a little deeper for them too, personally,
yeah,
but the fans.
because what we weren't seeing was that he was really getting under Roy's skin, which I could kind of see. I could kind of see it because Roy never reacted like this before, where he would say, "I'm gonna shut this guy up," and
Right.
and nearly lose a fight, and not come in at his best, and not think about moving back down from heavyweight, the dangers of that, moving back down, losing 20 pounds of muscle just to fight this guy, it put him in a different mind frame. And I feel like he was just one of those guys that, again, like his career is never going to touch Roy's, like Roy's before that fight. But it was just like there's certain guys that have your number that come along and they can really they're supposed to bring the best out of a champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't think Tarver was going to be that guy, and I still don't think he really was that guy. I don't think he brought the best out of Roy.
Yeah, that's why I say
because they clashed too late in their careers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know where was Tarver early in Roy's career. That's what I'm saying. I really don't understand how he came out of left field and had this dude's number, but. They both were from Pensacola, Florida, and there might have been things happening off camera or behind the scenes and that we didn't know. Not saying they were fighting, but they may have been arguing.
It could
have been anything.
Like that. Yeah.
So,
and I think that's just one of the things that I could kind of sense from Roy, from his reaction, and
it was deeper than
that.
Because I mean, come on, James Tony talked trash to him. A lot of people,
B-Hop
talked trash to him. It wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the same.
Cause you seen Hopkins in the past say his thing, but it was always respect after that. But like Tarver, he would cross that line and just disrespect Roy's career all together. But he was like, "You beat me back then. Why don't you, fight me now?" And I think if Roy would have fought him in more of a mind frame where it was just like another fighter, he would have won more convincingly. But I think he was fighting him more off of the history,
right?
Where he was kind of letting Tarver always get the one up over him,
And while we was talking about that, like just epic or classic showdowns, back to this Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. It was right after Riddick Bowe had beat Evander Holyfield for the undisputed, crown. Right after he steps out the ring, Lennox Lewis was commentating the fight. So I mean, they got face to face, and and that's why I say I don't believe people were scared of each other. You know what I mean?
No,
they were in each other's face, and what is it? Riddick Bowe said, "Man, you a bum. I'm gonna knock you." I mean, they were talking big junk face to face right at the round, but that was classic for that time in boxing in the 90s. We wasn't really seeing it how you see it now with social media and all this stuff, but that was a classic showdown right there, and we never got to see that fight. So that's what I'm saying. Guys can get in each other's face, they can talk junk, but we still may not see the fight,
right?
Yeah,
and that's sad when stuff like that happen, because see with Roy and Tarver, like you said, he didn't catch. That's the one thing that a lot of people feel like he didn't catch Roy at his best, right before he moved up to heavyweight. And for me, this was that time whenever I felt like Roy, he was in that Lennox Lewis stage of his career. He barely won the fight. He should have retired.
Right.
Because whenever Lewis, same year, he fought Klitschko, barely won, but he retired,
That's it. And never look back.
He pulled out enough to win the fight. And then said, never looking back, I'm done. I don't have it.
Especially when it's a tough fight. Like we said, we seen Roy and they all swollen up and stuff. It was the same thing with
and not getting off clean shots like he usually does.
Like you normally do, yeah. You got to know when it's time, and I mean that's one thing about Lennox that I always have to take my hat off to is walking away and never looking back. Walking away on top and never really looking back. You know what I mean? Now, you see interviews, he say, "Oh man, I'm thinking about it, I thought about it," but he said, "No, I'm good. My money's good, my family's good, my health is good, I'm good." So
and I definitely think at the time, Roy, he was good. When it came to money, he just came off beating one of the heavyweight champions. I feel like if you wanted to go out, maybe you should have taken another heavyweight fight, maybe, and called it a day. But there's those moments, like I tell you, like early even the UFC, when a champion doesn't know when to quit sometimes. If they get ahead of themselves, something comes down and humbles you quick, you know.
It can happen that way. It can happen that way.
What did you think of that Tarver fight, Roy fight? Did you think that Tarver won it? Because I know a lot of people I used to argue with, they say Tarver won.
I think that for a lot of people probably felt that way because we're not used to seeing Roy be in a close fight like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like I could physically look at Roy and see he wasn't the same person. I didn't think that he got beat up, but it was a very, very, very close decision, I thought. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and you always kind of give the nod to, I guess Roy Jones at that time, he was the way bigger star at that time, bigger name or whatever. But I thought it was enough for Roy that after that fight say, you know what, man, it might be time for me to just go ahead and chill. You know, it was too much work for me.
Yeah,
it's too much work.
Yeah, because my brother, we watched this fight and like he was a big Roy Jones fan, you know, and when he saw this fight, he was like, damn, you know, I never seen Roy look like this before. You know, like I just like, you know, he was just one of his, you know, favorite boxers too, you know, growing up. And then he saw this fight too. He was just like, I've never seen him, you know, get hit with a jab this many times. I never seen his face swole up like that. And his first thing was, he was like, yeah, you should probably retire because dropping down, you know, brother, he lifts weights and stuff like that. You know, he's into that. So he's like, dropping that weight, that was crazy. You know, it's a dangerous thing, like you said, you know.
And it make you wonder who was in this guy's camp and who advised that and who thought that was. I mean, I know it was a different time, but still, the knowledge had to be there that wouldn't be, you know, losing weight quick like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you would think that they would have people in their corner who would be able to make sound decisions on stuff like that or whatever. But, I mean, they may have tried, and Roy said, you know what, I'm doing it, and we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, that was, and we all know how the second fight went, you know, and again, that was one of my brother, he was like, damn, you know, because back then you used to see stuff in newspapers, and he saw it like at his job, he saw something like it said Superman gets knocked out in 2 rounds. We was like, damn,
but and even that, which is ingrained in everybody's memory, like the Mike Tyson knockout, like so many different fights, when he came in the middle of the ring and he said, what's going to be your excuse this time?
You got any excuses
this time? That right there kind of like scared me, like, damn, why would he say that? And Roy just sat there and ain't really say nothing.
Oh, man.
And then in 2 rounds, it was classic, man. It was classic boxing.
It was classic, man.
Of what can happen. I mean, this guy got in there and no fear at all, said, what excuses you going to have tonight? And then went and knocked out. It was mind-blowing. It was and back in them times, man, stuff like that turned my stomach, dude. It turned my stomach.
It did.
Certain things, and that was one of the nights that my stomach kind of was in a knot.
Same here, man.
You know?
Same here, because whenever I heard that, and I was just like, at first I didn't take nothing to it, but when the outcome came, you were like, when you put it all together, you're like, damn, this dude really do have his number. You know what I mean?
And then the visual, he ain't just stopped. This Joker is on the ground. I mean, it was just
halfway out the ring.
And stiff arms, just it was.
And he didn't even like get a count. Like the referee just like, I can't. You know,
you're done.
Yeah,
you're done. So I mean, it's like certain fights you'll never forget, and that's one of those knockouts. Do we never forget? As much as I want to forget it, you know what I mean? Because I'm a Roy fan, like probably every boxing fan out there, you know what I mean? Because Roy was the man.
Yeah, and I just found it. This fight here, the first fight was just something to mention because this is how I wanted to remember Roy. This is how I always wanted to remember, fighting off a heart, and then after that, hopefully, I was just hoping that he would just call it quits after that. I was just being like, okay, dig deep for this last fight, and then that's how I want to remember him last,
And trust me, I mean, you ain't alone with that. So many people wish that that was the last image they had of Roy, besides all the other ones that he gave us after that. But what can you say, man? I mean, we wonder why he continues to do it, but it's deeper than what we think.
It's deeper than what we know.
Yeah, we know what we think is deeper than that. So, but still gotta take our hat for all the tremendous fights that he gave us.
Yeah.
In his career.
Yeah.
And the awesome commentating he doing right now. I mean, he killing it with the commentating.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
Roy in his
nobody's
own
touching him.
lane
Yeah,
with the
nobody
Roy.
touching.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So that I don't know, man. I wish
been,
it. I wish it didn't go that way, but
yeah, yeah, I know. So it's like a happy anniversary to that. Happy 14th anniversary to what should have been.
Roy should have been retired for 14 years right now.
Exactly.